During the Spanish Civil War, Guernica, a town in the province of Biscay in Basque Country, was seen as the northern bastion of the Republican resistance movement and the center of Basque culture. This added to its significance as a target. The Republican forces were made up of assorted factions, communists, socialists, anarchists, and others, with differing goals, but united in their opposition to the nationalists, led by General Francisco Franco, who sought a return to pre-Republican Spain based on law, order, and traditional Catholic values. Around 4:30 p.m. on Monday, April 26, 1937, warplanes of the German Condor Legion, commanded by Colonel Wolfram von Richthofen, bombed Guernica for about 2 hours. In his journal for April 30th, 1937, von Richthofen wrote, "When the first Junkers squadron arrived, there was smoke already everywhere. The 250s toppled a number of houses and destroyed the water mains. The incendiaries now could spread and become effective. The materials of the houses, tile roofs, wooden porches, and half timbering resulted in complete annihilation." Other accounts state that Guernica's inhabitants were congregated in the center of town, as it was market day, and when the bombardment started, they were unable to escape because the roads were full of debris and the bridges leading out of town had been destroyed. Guernica was a quiet village. The nearest military target of any consequence was a factory on its outskirts, which manufactured various war products and went through the attack unscathed. Thus, the attack was widely condemned as a terror bombing. A full-size tapestry copy of Picasso's Guernica by Jacqueline de la Baume d'Urbach is hung at the headquarters of the United Nations in New York City at the entrance to the Security Council room. It was commissioned in 1955 by Nelson Rockefeller, since Picasso refused to sell him the original. On February 5, 2003, a large blue curtain was placed to cover this work at the UN, so that it would not be visible in the background when Colin Powell gave a press conference at the United Nations. Some diplomats, who were in talks with journalists, claimed that the Bush administration pressured UN officials to cover the tapestry, rather than have it in the background while Powell or other U.S. diplomats argued for war on Iraq. In a critique of the covering, columnist Alejandro Escalona hypothesized that Guernica's unappealing menage of mutilated bodies and distorted faces proved to be too strong for articulating to the world why the U.S. was going to war in Iraq, while referring to the work as, quote, an inconvenient masterpiece. The scene occurs within a room where, on the left, a wide-eyed bull stands over a grieving woman holding a dead child in her arms. In the center of the room, a horse falls in agony with a large gaping hole in its side, as if it has been just run through by a spear or javelin. The horse appears to be wearing chainmail armor, decorated with vertical tally marks arranged in rows. Daggers that suggest screaming have replaced the tongues of the horse, the bull, and the grieving woman. A dove is scribed on the wall behind the bull, part of its body comprising a crack in the wall through which bright light shines. To the horse's upper right, a frightened female figure appears to have floated into the room through a window and witnesses the scene. She carries a flame-lit lamp and holds it near the bare bulb. On the far right, another woman, her arms raised in terror, is entrapped by fire from above and below. Her right hand suggests the shape of an airplane. A dark wall with an open door defines the right side of the room. There are also two hidden images formed by the horse that appears in Guernica. One, a human skull overlays the horse's body. And two, a bull appears to gore the horse from underneath. The bull's head is formed mainly by the horse's entire front leg, which has the knee to the ground. The leg's kneecap forms the head's nose. A horn appears within the horse's breast. The bull's tail forms the image of a flame with smoke rising from it, seemingly appearing in a window created by the lighter shading of gray surrounding it. A dead and dismembered soldier lies under the horse. The hand of his severed right arm grasps a shattered sword, from which a flower grows. The open palm of the soldier's left hand contains a stigmata, a symbol of martyrdom derived from the stigmata of Christ. A bare light bulb in the shape of an eye blazes over the suffering horse's head. I once attempted to emulate Picasso's Guernica in high school. and although the painting cannot be duplicated, the themes are easy to spot. The pain of war and destruction is prevalent throughout, and the Block E style allows for some personalization while emulating it. However, overall, the pain and suffering that inspired Guernica could never, or should never, be duplicated again, which is why Guernica is now more than just a painting, but an anti-war piece as well.